Live from the Xfinity Studios at WVON. You're listening to Stats and Stilettos.
Welcome to Stats and Stilettos tonight, everybody. What's going on? I'm Fruit Basir.
I'm Maya Kai.
And tonight we have a jam-packed show for you guys. Make sure you keep it locked. We're here to 11 o'clock tonight. Our phone number here at the station is 773-591-1690. Give us a call. Let us know what you want to talk about. Do all of that stuff. You can also listen online at WVON.com. You can follow the show on Twitter at
Stilettos.
And you can like our Facebook page as well. Coming up here in our first segment, there's a big football game here, with the Bears and the 49ers out in San Francisco tomorrow night. And joining us now is the host of the pre- and post-game on the radio for the Chicago Bears, Ron Gleason. What's going on tonight, Ron? How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Now, of course, the big thing, Jay Cutler being out with the concussion this week, and Jason Campbell stepping up to see if he can stop dinking and dunking and maybe kind of throw the ball down the field a little bit. I'm assuming that since, he was kind of thrown in there, at the last second last week, that was kind of the game plan to not let him lose the game, but they're going to have to open it up a little bit more this week, I think.
Well, they probably have to open up a little bit, but, you got to be careful here because the 49ers defense, they're very similar to the Bears. I mean, you think about it, they like to run the ball, they like to stop the run, so you've got to play a little bit of that game. You can't go crazy and try to open it up, and you make one mistake and you're in trouble, and they're going to take the game away from you. So I do think that the Bears are going to need they need a manager, they need someone to control the game. I'd like to get away from a little, as you say, dink and dunk a little bit, the little check down that he was doing quite a little bit, probably too much last week, but he hadn't played much. I mean, he hasn't played at all in reality when the game mattered. And, here's a guy who's coming back from major injury a year ago when he was playing with Oakland, now with the Bears. The guy has talent. A year ago and 2 years ago with the Raiders, a bad football team. They had a winning record. Probably a big part of that was because he was their quarterback. He's got some talent, he's got some gift. He's got ability. He can throw downfield if they need to, but you got to manage the game. I mean, this is Matt Forte against Frank Gore as much as anything, and the running backs against each other tomorrow night.
When you look at last week, obviously the Bears struggled against the Texans. And you're right, you now have a 49er defense that has no issue with stopping the run. What can the Bears do different this week in establishing the run than what they did against the Texans?
Well, you have to stay with it. I mean, more than anything else, you can't give up on something. The Bears didn't run enough last week. They gave the ball to Matt Forte X number of times, not enough. He's averaging about 2.5 yards a carry, but you get that one run, that one breakaway, no different than what we saw with Houston last week and Arian Foster. For the most part, the Bears shut him down, but they had one big series where he had two good, substantial runs of 20 yards plus, and that's enough to make a difference. You have to stay with what is your bread and butter, what can work best for you. And I think if they do that, if they continue to give the ball off to Matt Forte, and you can't just run up the middle against this team. They have very stout inside defenders on the defensive line. It's a 3-4 defense. Forte tends to do better when he bounces the ball outside, and I think they have to think about running outside more.
What's interesting is last week the Bears tried to shift gears and use their tight ends and Spaeth and Kellen Davis more so than they used the entire season, which it didn't seem to work. I think they forgot that they traded away Olsen to Carolina. How much do you think they're going to be able to get that middle of the field yardage with the tight ends? Will they be more prepared this week?
Well, they're going to have to try. They have to try, but it's a tough defense. I don't know that this is the game where the tight end is going to make a big difference, but clearly what we saw a week ago from Kellen Davis wasn't good enough. The first catch he makes, gains 6 yards and fumbles it away, drops a bunch of passes and struggles along the way. They need more production from the tight end. There's not even a question. But it's still Brandon Marshall's game. He's still the go-to guy. And now one of the big differences, Alshon Jeffrey will be back. The question is, will he be effective as he was when he got injured after, 4 games ago? He's been out with a broken hand. First game back might be asking a lot, but he's a big target. He gives you more opportunity, and he does help open things up a little bit. But I still go back to the running game. It's not about the passing game tomorrow. It's about being able to find a way to establish the tempo and make things work the way you want to against a very stout 49er defense.
Okay, so who do you like tomorrow night?
You know, it's a tough game. I think it's going to be a very low-scoring game. I think it's going to be a close game. 49ers are home. The Bears haven't won there since 1985.
Yeah, they've been historically bad out there.
Well, we've seen a lot of bad games out there.
Yeah.
You know, I was out there the year, what was it, 80? I'm trying to think, was it 86? I don't even remember what year it was now, but I was out there the year of Mike Ditka throwing his gum, you know, at somebody in the stands, and covered the game back then. And I mean, they have just had miserable performances in San Francisco. Monday night games, Sunday night games. It's been awful. Yeah, Thursday night, doesn't matter. It's all been bad. Although the last time they played there was a very close, low-scoring game. I think it was 10-6 they lost. And
that was
in
the
that game,
Cutler interception. Yeah.
Yep, 5 picks in one game. But there you go. You don't know what's going to happen game by game. It's a tough, hard-fought game. I don't know. I have to save that, of course, for tomorrow night's broadcast as we try to make our picks right before the game is going to happen. But I think it's going to be a great game. I do believe it's if you love defense, this is a game you should enjoy.
All right, well, Ron, thanks for taking time out to join us tonight and giving us preview on the big Monday Night Football game tomorrow.
All right, guys. Great to join you.
Thanks,
you.
Ron.
All right, that's Ron Gleason, pregame, postgame host for the Chicago Bears radio network here in town.
Welcome back to Stats and Stilettos. Got a comment? Call the show 773-591-1690 or leave a comment on our Twitter page @StatsStilettos.
Welcome back to Stats and Stilettos here on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. Farouk, Maya, together tonight. And we were just talking with Ron Gleason, Bears pre- and post-game host, getting a preview of the Bears-Niners Monday Night Football game. And now we are going to talk about some other football games.
That's right. Let's talk some more football games in around the league. Week 11 edition. I am Damon Spruiel, your moderator. Follow me at Demons1, DEMONZE1. First game. Let's jump right into it. Let's go into the division. Green Bay 24, Detroit 20. Aaron Rodgers 19 for 27, 236 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Randall Cobb 74 yards, 1 touchdown. On the Lions side, you had Matthew Stafford, 17 for 39, 266 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. And Calvin Johnson, 143 yards and 1 touchdown in the loss. Maya, what you got?
Well, this is the one game you cannot gripe about Calvin Johnson's performance. He
cannot.
Stepped up.
No, you
even though I will say this, there were some plays that he should have made. I'm just being honest. You know, you're not called. You're not being
like
called
criticism right there.
I'm just saying though, you can't be called Big Play CJ, and then they needed him to just do a little bit more. But
He
still,
got another nickname?
So
that's his Twitter handle, Big Play CJ.
So is he
I
Starscream?
follow.
Is he Starscream?
No, he's not Starscream, damn it. You know what's interesting about the Lions team? It's just they're out of sorts on many levels. Stafford, I say this every week. He underthrew a lot of passes or he overthrew a lot of passes. They just don't seem to be on the same page in regards to the receivers. I'm not sure what's going on, but I will say this. Nick Fairley, monster game.
Yeah.
He was very disruptive on the line of scrimmage. You know, at one point, did you see the play where he picked up Aaron Rodgers and had him?
Smart.
And he was
Very smart.
kind enough
Yes.
to set him down softly.
Very smart.
Because Aaron Rodgers was like, oh, and he just sat him down softly. So, I mean, big game for Fairley. But overall, I mean, even Michael LaShore had a decent game. Mm-hmm. They're just not consistent in getting things done. And I think it's coming down, something is not right with Stafford. I'll be curious if they say somewhere in the season that his arm or his shoulders are not right.
The past couple of years.
Because he is underthrowing and overthrowing receivers that these are plays that they should be able to make.
Yeah, he and Scheffler were misconnecting a lot on that. You know, he's throwing a lot of balls behind him. So, he was throwing a lot of balls behind him. He was having a rough day out there. But Detroit, they led pretty much most of the game, but they did everything to let Green Bay win it, and they finally took it away from them there late in the fourth quarter.
Do you know they had 7? They allowed for 7 returns to be a combination this season.
Right, the Lions.
Like two on kickoffs, 2 on punts, 2 on interceptions, and 1 on fumbles. They've allowed to be returned for touchdowns. I'm like, they're just not.
You're begging for losses.
Yeah, there was a pick six that Stafford threw to the guy that
I mean, it was like
from the Seattle game.
just.
Yeah,
I hate
the
to
guy
say
that
this.
got the interception taken from him in
Yes.
the Seattle
Oh,
game.
yeah.
I really
Yeah,
believe, and
MD Jennings.
this was
MD
not
Jennings.
a good game for Green Bay for what it's worth. It really, to me, was not a good game for them. And they have a lot of injuries. People that are not, they don't have, Greg Jennings is not in. Thor wasn't in the game.
Woodson isn't back either.
Yeah,
Woodson is
Charles
not back.
Woodson was
So my
over
thing is this: if the Lions can't beat a depleted Green Bay squad,
Who can they beat? They are underachievers.
they have not won a division game yet, and that's an issue.
And Green Bay's won 9 straight division games. Yeah, Detroit's season is over. They play Houston on Thanksgiving. They're done.
Yeah, that's a wrap. They're gonna be
They're
stuffed.
4-6. They're done.
Yeah.
Next game, Jacksonville, 37, Houston, 43 in
Wow.
overtime. Check out these stats right here.
Yeah.
Matt Schaub, 43 for 55. 527 yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Andre Johnson, 273 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. Now to go over to Chad Henne. He played. I didn't even know Chad Henne was
what?
even on Jacksonville. I didn't even know that.
I didn't know that
Michigan?
either.
Man,
Michigan, Ohio State? What's going on?
16 for 38, 354 yards, 4 touchdowns, and Justin Blackman went for 236 yards, receiving yards, and 1 touchdown. Now, it's crazy, and you said this during the break, that Jacksonville got 37, the Bears only got 6. And you would think the Bears, is a better offense, but Farouk, Jacksonville took them to as long as they can get, but, they pull it out in an overtime win.
Justin Blackman, he's a number 5 pick in the draft, and he finally shows up.
Exactly, right.
He was supposed to be like a mega star and, coming right out of the box, on some Randy Moss type stuff, and he finally has his breakout game. But like we're saying, Chad Henne, maybe, this should be the guy playing instead of Blaine Gabbert down there,
Did Blaine get hurt or something?
Yeah, he got hurt.
Okay.
He got hurt. But
Like I said, I didn't know Chad was still in the league.
Schaub, the second most passing yardage ever in a game today by Matt Schaub. So very impressive numbers offensively. This was Madden football. This is real interesting, exciting football, and I can't believe that Houston let Jacksonville hang with them this long. And Jacksonville actually blew a big lead in this game.
They did. And this gets back to this season has been just because a good team has a bad game isn't indicative that they're not good. That's just how this season has gone. Good teams have lost or struggled against teams, and you scratch your head and you say, really? So, I mean, yeah, it makes you question the Bears. Like, you could only put up that many points, and look what Jacksonville did.
And Houston was at home, too. That was the crazy thing about it. All right, next game. San Diego 23, Denver 30. Peyton Manning 25 for 42, 270 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Pick 6.
Pick 6. That's, yeah. He always does it, but he comes back and the sheriff writes it. Brandon Stokely 55 yards and 1 touchdown. Phillip Rivers, your boy Farouk, 24 for 40, 258 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and say the name for me one more time.
Denario Alexander.
Why can't I say this guy's name? Denario Alexander, 96 yards.
It's made up, that's why.
Yeah, I know, right? 2 touchdowns with 96 receiving yards. Can we say Super Bowl contending Denver Broncos?
As much as I'd like to say that, I'm not quite there yet. I will say this: every game, Peyton Manning is making them better. They're finding that balance that you would expect that he was going to give them. So it's not quite.
Well, I would say that Willis McGahee had another knee injury today, and I would say that would be a big blow to them. But Peyton Manning won the Super Bowl with Joseph Adai at running back, so he could probably win it with whoever McGahee's backup is.
It doesn't matter who you put in the game; he's going to make that work.
And ever since I said nice things about Phillip Rivers, he's my favorite quarterback, Baby Marino. He's been sucking.
He's been
pretty
sucking
much all
for
year.
a long time.
No.
You just
not
haven't
for a
been
long
paying
time.
attention.
Not
That's
for
what
a long
that
time.
is.
Just this year, this is the worst year he's ever had.
He's been on the decline for a minute.
And this is usually when they turn it up in
Yeah,
November.
they normally
And
start winning right about now.
They are not winning at all.
But they're in the AFC, and the difference between that and the NFC is they can still make a run and get in the playoffs. If they're in the NFC, they'd be done.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true about them being an AFC team.
So
All right, let's get one more in here. How about them boys? Cleveland 20, Dallas 23 in overtime win. Tony Romo 35 for 50. Wow, man. 313 yards, 1 touchdown. Dez Bryant, 145 yards and 1 touchdown. Brandon Wheaton went for 20 for 35, 210 yards and two touchdowns. And Benjamin Watson, 47 yards but 2 touchdowns. So now, them boys, they back in the hunt in the NFC East. The Giants haven't really pulled away, and you see what's going on with Washington, Philadelphia. So, Mike, can we count them boys back in the playoff hunt?
Did you see the way the Dallas struggled against Cleveland in this
They
game today?
struggled, but a win is a win.
So I'm having a hard time with. I mean, here's the thing. It seems like Dallas finds a way to keep themselves relevant, even though I hate to say a win against Cleveland is relevant because it's Cleveland for God's sake.
Cleveland was balling with them.
Cleveland has talent. They do, and they actually have a good defense. They actually have a good defense, which has kept them in the game, and most of the games they've managed to stay in and not have total blowouts. I'm sorry, I can't hang faith on the Star. I can't do it.
Yeah, Dallas sucks. They'll probably win this on Thursday too against Washington, and then the hype will really begin.
No, Washington, they're feeling themselves right about now. After today's win against the Eagles, they're feeling it.
4-6 now?
The Cowboys are 5-5.
5-5. No,
yeah, Washington. Yeah, they're 4-6.
They're getting their comp. This was, granted, it was against an Eagles team.
The Eagles are quick.
That is a quick spiral.
They've quit. They're done.
But still, that's a win is a win. They needed that win to kind of get them to where they needed to be. So
okay, nice. All right, let's go one more. How about them birds? The battle of the birds. Arizona 19, Atlanta 23. I'm not gonna call him Matthew this week. I'm gonna call him Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan, 28 for 46, 301 yards, 5 interceptions. I take that back. No, Matthew. Yeah, Matthew Ryan. Michael Turner, NIU boy. What's up? 46 yards, 1 touchdown. Ryan Lindley. Why I can't say Lindley. Why I can't say anybody's name?
Yeah, he's the guy that replaced John Skelton.
Right, 9 for 20. And Lerod Stephen Hollins, 127 yards for 1 touchdown. Sorry about that, Ryan. Screw your name up like that. But Atlanta, bounce back win. Y'all, what's up?
That's what good teams do. That's the bottom line. Okay. You may have had a sloppy game, and it was a sloppy game for them. But the bottom line is they got the job done.
Right.
So I'm not going to sit here and pick them apart. They just didn't have a good game. And was this bound? I mean, even when they were going and they were undefeated, they would still have games that weren't that good for them. So they're still managing to keep it together. It is what it is.
Not only do you lose when you get 5 interceptions if you're Arizona, but you can only get 19 points.
Right. And when those points, those turnovers should have been touchdowns. Yeah. Easy points. Yeah. Easy touchdowns.
Yeah.
But see, that's the difference between good team and bad teams. Good teams can monopolize on turnovers. Right. Bad teams do not. And that's the fine line that's there.
Arizona was 4-0 at one point this year.
Well, we all kind of knew they were going to come back to
reality. We knew that wasn't going to last long.
But that's just amazing how you can be this bad and actually beat 4 people consecutively, 4 teams consecutively.
Because sometimes teams have bad games, and you get to take advantage of it. True. Larry Fitzgerald should want out of Arizona.
But he signed a big contract.
Of course, so ching. He was like, I'll stay.
Man. Nice weather.
Forget the Super Bowl ring. Doesn't matter.
He likes the weather.
He likes the weather too much?
Yeah. Yep.
Man, too bad for you, Larry. All right, let's just wrap up this right here. Tampa Bay 27, Carolina 21 overtime win. We have New Orleans 38, Oakland 17.
Should we take the Saints seriously now?
Oh, that's a good question.
Should we be taking them seriously?
They're in the hunt. You can possibly say 5th or 6th seed. Wild card possibly. The offense is clicking right now. They're not going to catch Atlanta, no. But they can definitely sneak in.
Okay, we'll see.
They're playing. Seems like they're playing better football every single week, and that's been the trend for them this season. We knew they were coming out the gate slow because of their situation.
And Jason Key, we had him on a couple of weeks. He did say they're going to get back to 500.
He did. When Jason did say that, he was like, expect for them to turn it around.
Yeah, that's big for New Orleans. Then we had Indianapolis going down hard. Man, New England 59, Indianapolis 24.
That was spanking time.
Andrew Luck is a rookie, and he showed it today.
But that's that's called a good team game plan to work towards your weaknesses, and they exploited everything about him today.
Yep.
But the Colts are still in the hunt for the playoffs, so still be on the lookout for them. Then we have New York Jets 27, St. Louis 13, Cincinnati 28, KC, Kansas City Chiefs. My goodness. 6 points. Then we have Washington 31, Philadelphia 6.
RG3 had a perfect quarterback rating in that game. 14 for 15, 200 yards, 4 touchdown passes.
Doesn't take that much to go against Philadelphia.
Like we said, they quit.
They're like, if Andy Reid makes it to the end of the season without being fired, they'll be shocked. I'm going to assume.
I think he's going to make it.
I think he'll make it just because.
Why fire him now, though?
Yeah, exactly.
I agree, and I think because of the relationship that he has with that organization, they've already had the conversation that he's leaving. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think they will let him leave respectfully, because this is a season that cannot be salvaged.
Yeah, I'm sure he wants out. Michael Vick's not going to be there. That team's going to be completely
Michael Vick, his scramble might be done.
You saying retirement?
Seriously,
he's not driving.
This is not good. This is when you start talking about the concern for players when they're done playing football, and knowing that concussions are tied to encephalopathy and other things like that. Mm-hmm. This is not good. He may have to consider, if this concussion is that serious, he may need to hang it up. Seriously, for his own health. he may have to hang it up.
At least he out of debt now.
And in the end, that's all that matters.
That can cause you a real headache right there.
Yeah.
Okay. On Thursday night game, we had Buffalo beating Miami 19-14. And last Monday night, you had Pittsburgh over KC. And that was a garbage game. But Pittsburgh won overtime, 16-13.
And Pittsburgh, could someone tell them to stop
wearing
these prison break
with
outfits?
the Three Stooges outfits.
It really bothers me. It's awful.
These are the old Three Stooges.
And it's distracting. It's I know the other team is distracted. I know they are. Because I'm distracted. Like, why do you have this on?
And right now, currently, as we're talking about it with the prison jail jerseys,
jailbreak outfit on.
Baltimore is up on Pittsburgh 13-7.
Oh,
in the third
just
quarter.
Awful.
And that's around the league.
So we're at 11 games into this NFL season. Obviously, more than getting into the home stretch. Mm-hmm. Where do you realistically see the Bears? Do you see them winning the division, though it looks like Green Bay is coming around? Do you think they're going to be sitting in a wild card position? Where do you see them at this point?
It depends on Cutler, because as much as people want to knock him, they can't win without him. And he makes mistakes, and he holds onto the ball for too long, throws bad interceptions, but we've seen it last year. And until we can see proof that Jason Campbell can lead this team to victories, we can't say that he's going to do it, because he played so conservatively last week. So once we see, I think a lot depends on what happens tomorrow, because even if they lose the game but Campbell plays effectively, then we'll have more of a better gauge to kind of judge this team on. But it really, a lot hinges on tomorrow night's game.
And it's absolutely ridiculous to have this conversation of saying we're into week 11 and we're still not sure about the identity of the team, what to expect of them. That is so unreasonable at this point that it looks great on paper. Everybody was extremely excited about bringing in the likes of Brandon Marshall, which I think at this point, if I had to give Brandon Marshall a grade, I think he definitely has lived up to his expectations.
Oh, yeah.
At least an A in what he's given the team.
No
he
doubt.
has allowed them to stretch the field.
No doubt.
But it's the fact that all these other components are still not coming together is a bit distressing.
Headlines. Headlines. Headlines.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of stuff going on here in the past week. We'll get to pretty much tackle all of it. Speaking of tackle, where you want to start? You want to go football? You want to go baseball MVPs and Cy Youngs, basketball?
Let's start with Notre Dame.
Man, the number one team in the nation, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
I am
Wow.
such a traitor. No, I'm just kidding. I am bandwagon
You're
jumping.
completely on the bandwagon
I am bandwagon
until
jumping.
USC
But wait a minute,
beats them Saturday.
but I've been talking them up for a minute, so it isn't like I haven't been talking it up.
Okay.
And I told you what my ties are. So, I'm supporting my fellas. I'd love to see them. Bobby Diaco is an assistant coach for them. So if he does well, obviously this could open doors for his career. So I'm excited for my former Hawkeye, alum. I want them to do well.
Well, but the bad thing that came from this, with them winning, they're number one now, but also K-State and Oregon State, they're two direct competition teams as far as the national title game. Both of them lost, but this put SEC teams into the now BCS picture with now the 2, 3, and 4. I believe the order is Alabama, Georgia, and then Florida in that order. So Notre Dame ain't beating neither one of them in the national title game.
Say what you want to say. We'll see what happens.
It's not going to happen.
At this point, anything can happen. You cannot rule it out. I find it hard to believe they played this hard and this well to get this far along and be like, okay, we just want to implode and not play well.
But see, there's so many factors. Not only is there the SEC factor, but then there's the 5 or 6 weeks or however long it's going to be between this USC game they're going to play Saturday and the national title game if they were to beat USC, which their chances were greatly enhanced by Matt Barkley, I believe, is out for this game. So that's huge with his shoulder injury. He got hurt yesterday with losing the Battle of L.A. against UCLA. So, I think
Notre Dame is blessed by God. You just need to know this.
So where was he at all these last few years when they were horrible?
Look, they finally have completed their rosary.
Okay.
And they have been, the college football gods are now smiling down upon them.
Now they're smiling. Okay.
They've gotten these wins, honestly. This is the best, Notre Dame team you can say you've seen in a while. You have to be respectful of that.
93, yeah.
So they're playing good football. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited for them. For once, they actually have lived up to the hype.
I was just hoping that at least Oregon could win so we could get Notre Dame, Oregon in the national title game. That would have been a great game. A very entertaining game. A lot of hype here locally, Notre Dame being a local team. But we're probably not going to get that now.
That is so weird. You said they're a local team. Really? You feel that way?
South Bend's right up the street.
Well, I don't know. I don't feel they're local. I just feel they have such a connection with people in different places. I mean, for instance, where I'm from in Joliet, there's actually a lot of Notre Dame people. Rudy is actually from Joliet. He went to Joliet Catholic.
Wow.
So, like, a lot of people. Tom Thayer, you know.
Wow.
So I know from where I'm at, a lot of people like Notre Dame. But, I mean, I don't know. I just never really looked at them as a local team. I'm just supposed to say Illinois is a local team or Northwestern.
South Bend is way closer than
I don't know. I'm just saying. You know, to me, Notre Dame is like the Cubs. People like them everywhere around the country. I don't care where they are. Yeah. It's like they have people that just love them. They're alumni, and just people love them everywhere. I know.
No doubt, no doubt. Other big news this week, of course, my man D, DeMons, we called Mike D'Antoni getting this Lakers gig when everyone and their mother was saying that, you know, Phil is doing this and Phil is doing that. Jim Buss said, man, you Phil. I'm not giving in to all of your crap. You're not going to take days off. Actually, it was Jerry.
Actually, on the flip side, another story came out to that. Phil Jackson said he never talked to them about any specifics of the contract. He didn't ask for travel. He said they came to his house. They called him up. And he said, I do have an interest, but they never talked about what was going to be the framework of the contract. So I don't know. I'm not sure who's telling the truth. I mean, I don't think he lied about them coming to his house. He came out and said it, and so did his agent. Like, I'm sorry, this got embellished a bit. And I said,
embellished. You know, when people say that, though, that means that it's half truth. That's just like saying, I said most of that, but I didn't say all of that. That's kind of what it sounds like. So either way,
I think he felt like they cut him off at the knees because he's like, I'll get back to you on Monday. Let me think about this and consider some stuff. And they like, boom, went right past him, which in a way was kind of disrespectful. At the end of the day, I'll put a stamp on this. D'Antoni will not get it done. See, I'm trying to figure out why everybody has such a love affair with him because his best years were with the Suns. When was that, like 19?
No.
I'm sorry, like 2000. I'm sorry, 2006,
the year
7, 8, somewhere in that time frame when they went to the Western Conference twice, like those years back to back.
And they would have been in the NBA Finals.
Okay, woulda, shoulda, woulda, whatever. Bull. I'm just saying. So that's his best work was then. He went to the Knicks and could never pull that together.
That was a horrible team he had in New York.
Okay, I'm sorry. He had some talent in New York. He had Carmelo Anthony. He had Amari Stoudemire. He even got Tyson Chandler in the mix. He had some talent.
I'm about to do my Charles Barkley.
Do it.
The New York Knicks will not have a better record than the Brooklyn Nets at the end of the year. I firmly believe that. Barkley said that the other night. I agree with him 100%.
Actually,
this Knicks thing is
to be
fraudulent.
honest,
I think the Knicks suck.
The talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Stats and Stilettos.
Welcome back to Stats and Stilettos. You're on with me, Maya and Farouk, and we are doing headlines. All the happenings, the going-ons and around in the world of sports. If you'd like to weigh in, your comments are welcome to it. 773-591-1690. You can also hit us up via Twitter at Stats Stilettos, and of course you can post on Facebook Stats A&D Stilettos. Make sure too you like the page and you follow us on Twitter as well. Those are key things. So we just got done talking about the Bulls who are losing to Portland. And how this team will not look the same. I'll be curious for those of you that are, are diehard, hardcore Bulls fans. Given what you've seen so far and this team that you see assembled, do you really want Derrick Rose to come back? Everybody feels like the Bulls have the ability to get at least a 7th or an 8th seed to get into the playoffs. That's about all that's going to happen. And win the division. Okay.
Well, they're in a horrible division.
Okay, if that happens, if they win the division, that is that other caveat that can go into it. But let's be honest, beyond that gift horse, because that's about what that is, there's not much that's going to happen with them. So, being said, if they happen to, let's make the assumption, if they make it to the playoffs, they're going to make it to the playoffs. Do you want Derrick Rose back? Or would you just prefer that he not come back at all?
Well, you know what? I want him back so it'll be like an elongated preseason. You know, he can come back, get himself in playing shape, get ready, get out there, make sure everything's good, and then come back next year and have a big season. So that's why it'll be an extended preseason, I think. That's how I want him to come back. Don't sit over there if you're healthy and not play. So I'd like to see him back out there as quickly as possible. I want him to come back soon. I'm not wanting him to come back so, the Bulls are going to make a run at the Heat. I'm not that delusional, but come back, get yourself together, make the team watchable, and then we'll see what happens after that. Mitch, how you doing, bro? You on the radio, man.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Pretty good, pretty good. You sound like you in some
Something going on, Mitch?
Yeah, you know. You need
I
Stats and
just
Stilettos
rolled
help,
it.
man.
I just
You need to come out there and hold you down, Mitch. Man, what's going on?
I just got work, man. I'm a federal worker. Just got work and everything.
'Cause we got you, Mitch. We can come out there and help you, man.
We got your back.
Yeah.
We got you.
I'm on my way home. I'm in the car rolling and everything down Stony Out, just past y'all studios and everything.
All right, okay.
But listen, I don't want Derek to come back, but he's such a competitive young blood that I know he want to come back. But I don't want to waste. I don't want him to be wasted and possible injury until they got money to spend to help him out, man.
But the Bulls
And
management
everything.
doesn't spend money correctly, Mitch. You know,
Yeah.
see Carlos Boozer.
They need to get rid of him. For me, man, that Mark don't do nothing.
You call him a Mark?
Man, I'm done with that Mark, man. He needs to get on.
Well, now, Mitch, how do you really feel?
Hopefully, after 3 or 4 years, he'll end up on that program broke. So he needs to get on, man. But I really don't want that young brother to come back, man. But he's so competitive, man. That's his heart, man.
It is.
That's how we come up in the city, man.
That's his
and
life.
everything, and we want to get out. But I'm just, man, just wait till next year, Derek. Just wait till next year. They can spend some money and give that young brother some help, man.
Let's take Marvin. Marvin.
2 M's back to back. Marvin, what's up?
And Marvin, first of all, man, y'all off the chain,
Woo,
man.
woo.
Yes, we are, Marvin. Yes, we are.
Don't be trying to rush Derrick Rose back to the Bulls, man. Let them do what they're going to do this year and have him come back healthy. So when he comes back healthy, he can grab, what's her name, Maya Stiletto, and he can buy some more shoes.
Hey, I like
You
that.
know-
He even knew my name. Look at that.
You know, just have Derrick Rose come back healthy so he can buy Maya some more stilettos. Because y'all going to stay on the air for a while. I'm waiting for y'all to have a town hall meeting about sports. It's about time WVON put some more sports shows on the station.
Hey,
Y'all
thanks.
ain't got a lot of sports stations, but y'all off the chain. I like y'all.
Thank you. We appreciate
Man,
that,
Marvin.
Marvin.
Yeah.
Y'all be blessed, man. Keep on talking about sports. I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Man.
Wow. Hey, love the love.
No doubt, no doubt. Thank you to the callers, the listeners, our staff. We got time to shout people out. Alexis Wolford, our executive producer, Tamia Baker, our associate producer. Thank you to Damon Spruiel on the cameras on the around the league. Thank you to Jonathan Garcia holding down that Twitter. All those great tweets you see from Stats and Stilettos.
Social media guru.
Yes.
That's John on that. Thank you to Robert
John, I like
Chapman.
that.
Thank you to everybody. Malcolm Rockhold on the ones and twos, making us sound good, making us sound crystal clear. Peace.